I am really excited to use Ribombee in this video. It's a Pokemon, like I said, that I like quite a bit and have not found much use for in this generation. So, okay, I didn't think that would happen. I had a lot of options for this week's Tournament Team Tuesday. Of course, I skipped last week because I had a channel milestone to take care of. There was no Tournament Team video last week after the Lille Regional Championship had happened, and in the time since then, we've had two other regionals, one in Brisbane and one in Gdansk. So I decided that what I was going to do for this week was look over the winning teams from those three tournaments and just choose whichever one was the most interesting to me to feature now. And perhaps unsurprisingly, this team by Marco Silva that won the Lille Regional Championship is the choice, as it has one of my sort of quiet favorite-ish competitive Pokemon that I've never gotten to use much in Scarlet and Violet in the form of Ribombee. Ribombee was something of a favorite of mine in early Sword and Shield, where people used it with Belly Drum, Gigantamax, Snorlax, and Ribombee would use Speed Swap to give its speed stat to Snorlax because it's a fairly fast Pokemon. Snorlax is very slow. Snorlax, a +6 attack, would outspeed everything, most things, get its berry back with G-Max Replenish and do a ton of damage, and Ribombee being a fairy type could also help it deal with fighting types. Ribombee no longer gets Speed Swap in Generation 9, and I have personally not found it to be an easy Pokemon with which to find anything for it to do in VGC, but it does have a niche, and Marco Silva proved that in Lille. And it starts with Ribombee's ability, Shield Dust. Shield Dust is Covert Cloak the ability. It's kind of funny to say it that way because it's a lot older than Covert Cloak, but I guess you could say Covert Cloak is Shield Dust the item. But Shield Dust protects Ribombee from secondary effects, meaning most notably it cannot be flinched by Fake Out. So you can run a Focus Sash, and there's no need for Terra Ghost. It never has to worry about a Fake Out flinch. They can break the Sash with Fake Out, but Ribombee will still get his Tailwind up. There are actually two different Tailwind setters on this team. This is clearly meant to be an aggressive Tailwind offense team, as Dragonite also carries the move, while also giving some physical offense to what is otherwise a very specially offensive team. Gholdengo, kommo-o, Blood Moon, or Saluna, even with the Assault Vest, are all very powerful special attackers. And Ribombee also carries Fake Tears, so it can get, I believe, a -2 special defense drop into an opponent, and it can create openings for its partners in that way. Of course, Gholdengo, kommo-o, and Ribombee also form the classic Fairy Dragon Steel Core, or you can mix Dragonite in as the Dragon type, but kommo-o can fire off those Clanging Scales, and Gholdengo Make It Rain. Those two complement each other pretty well coverage-wise, since Make It Rain hits the Fairy types that are immune to Clanging Scales, and Clanging Scales is going to be a problem for all the various types that resist Steel to take, except opposing Steel types, but kommo-o has coverage for those in Aura Sphere and Flamethrower, and then you mix in Ribombee Moonblast with that Fairy type coverage, and it's a very threatening core. With also Blood Moon or Saluna being a very powerful attacker, Dragonite being a strong physical attacker and second Tailwind setter, and then of course Incineroar to tie everything together. That's the team. I feel like a lot of these Pokemon could have some really nuanced EV spreads that I don't know because I don't have Marco Silva's EVs, so hopefully I won't be burned too badly by that, but there are probably a lot of optimizations that I don't have here. But I'm looking forward to just clicking Tailwind and hopefully sweeping through some opponents. No Wolfie Cone Parish to worry about, I hope. You never know on Showdown Ladder. We start this run with immediately a Rain team, Pelipper or Chaldon. They have both Basculegion and Kingdra, which is unusual, I think. I must have played a lot of Showdown lately because I actually think I recognize my opponent's username. But they have those four, Amoonguss, and Ursaluna, which is not super common on a team like this, I would think. Probably a faster Ursaluna to take advantage of Pelipper Tailwind because there's no Trick Room on this team. So I actually am not sure how I play into dual Swift Swim. I guess my Tailwind is probably just really important here. Scarf Ribombee. Okay, Scarf Ribombee should be able to get a Tailwind, so that much is okay. I think Ribombee kommo-o is a reasonable lead. Archaldon can threaten kommo-o, but kommo-o can also threaten Archaldon. Kingdra can threaten kommo-o. But a lot of the rest of this team doesn't especially want to see kommo-o right away. And I didn't mention it, but with Overcoat, kommo-o is immune to Spore as well. So let's do that lead. I think I like Dragonite here, just not into the Archaladon. But some of these other things, if I can get a Scale Shot or an Extreme Speed into them, I can't Extreme Speed Basculegion unless it Terastallizes, but that can put me in a decent spot. And I'll bring Ursaluna, because so that gives me something more to threaten the Archaladon. That means I leave Gholdengo behind, but facing off against these faster threats, I think that's reasonable. The nice thing about Basculegion leading here is Last Respects is the weakest it can be right now. The unfortunate thing about seeing Pelipper here is it can Wide Guard. That'll stop clanging scales, and I don't have other good damage into either of these Pokemon, but Pelipper doesn't necessarily have Wide Guard in this format. I'll make them prove it. And just go for my Tailwind with Ribombee. I am really excited to use Ribombee in this video. It's a Pokemon, like I said, that I like quite a bit, and have not found much use for in this generation. So, okay, I didn't think that would happen. Well, good thing I said that I'm excited for Ribombee, and I didn't say that I'm excited for kommo-o. Go Dragonite here. And I actually think the best thing I can do right now is just Extreme Speed and Moonblast the Basculegion. Both my Pokemon should outspeed now that I have my Tailwind. Well, Dragonite shouldn't outspeed, but it gets priority. Okay. I cannot believe the Basculegion just one-shot kommo-o. That's crazy. But we do take it out now. They have Kingdra. Of course, they're going all out. Offense here. Kingdra will outspeed everything, but Ribombee's Sash is still intact. They can't Terra. I think it's worth it to Terra Steel Dragonite. That avoids a Dragon attack, but turns off its Water Resist as well. But I think I'm comfortable with that and going for Scale Shot into Kingdra, doubling into that Pokemon, trying to get rid of it before I can take out anything of mine. Yeah, okay, we do take a Draco Meteor nicely there. It's Life Orb Kingdra. So I guess I didn't need to double into it, but now I can get damage into Pelipper. Ribombee knocking out Kingdra is pretty big there. 4 hits with the Scale Shot. Probably wouldn't have KO'd anyway with all 5. Ribombee's Sash is broken now by the Weather Ball. It's Ursaluna last. We both still have Tailwind up, but mine is about to end. But I think here I just target the Pelipper. I'll go for Extreme Speed into Pelipper. And Moonblast into Ursaluna. They don't protect anything, actually. So I do get this Moonblast damage. It's Headlong Rush into Dragonite. Earthquake would have taken 2 KOs there. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe they don't have Earthquake. And now, if I protect... I can't protect Blood Moon or Ursaluna because it's running the Assault Vest set. But I can Vacuum Wave into -1 special defense here and protect Ribombee on the last turn of my opponent's Tailwind. And their Ursaluna shouldn't... Even if it KOs my Ursaluna here, which it actually doesn't, it should just lose to Ribombee Moonblast after that. So my opponent forfeits. That game was kind of scary at some points, but we got through it. Well, specifically it was scary when the Basculegion one-shot kommo-o turn 1, which I didn't see coming at all. But the combination of Extreme Speed Dragonite and Ribombee just being very fast and getting Tailwind up in that first turn, and then having that strong Fairy Stab and Moonblast to hit back, also a valuable thing coming from a fast Tailwind setter, meant that we were able to turn that one around. Ribombee and Dragonite was a really strong duo there. Okay, Archaladon, Araquanid, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Pelipper, Incineroar, and Sinistcha. Another rain team, but we've gone from weirdly many Swift Swim Pokemon to none at all. Instead, this looks more Trick Room oriented. Although they could still have Tailwind on the Pelipper. But into this team, I don't know that my Tailwind is so valuable because I think there's a good chance they want to set Trick Room. Although their only Trick Room setter is Sinistcha. It's definitely not a hard Trick Room team. With that in mind, I can threaten Sinistcha with Pokemon like Gholdengo, maybe kommo-o, and Incineroar. But Incineroar is kind of hard to bring into the rest of this. I can bring Ribombee, and I can Fake Tears or just Moonblast Sinistcha if they lead with that. So let's lead Ribombee kommo-o again. Hopefully it works out better this time, and I'll bring Gholdengo. Actually, I think the combination of Ursaluna and Archaladon makes me want to again bring Dragonite and my Ursaluna, because my Ursaluna is one of the best things I have for Archaludon, and Dragonite's one of the best things I have for Araquanid and their Ursaluna. It is Sinister lead with Archaludon. Awkward thing here is Clanging Scales gives them stamina if they have it, but I think I can Flamethrower Sinistra. But if they switch Pelipper and it's resisted, I think we just Clanging Scales anyway. And Moonblast the Sinistra. Or maybe, well, the special attack drop is nice if it goes from Machagacha. I don't know if Moonblast or Fake Tears was more correct there, but we get the crit anyway, so it's fine. Dragon Pulse back, takes out Kommo-o. I definitely probably should be running a bulkier Kommo-o than I am. Because it probably it's a Pokemon that you would think should be taking some hits. Here I'll Terra Water. Yeah, because they don't Electro Shot turn 1 when I haven't shown, or they don't Electro Shot when this is new on the field and I haven't shown the Terra Water yet. So Terra Water, they could Terra their Archaludon. I don't know what its Terra type is, but I think it's okay because I'll go for my Tailwind with Ribombee here. Even if they set their Tailwind, Ribombee is still the fastest Pokemon on the field. So I think this Earth Power is reasonably safe because Ribombee can threaten Archaludon next turn if need be, is my point. Tailwind, the Earth Power doesn't do much to Araquanid though. Weather Ball into Ursaluna, we take that nicely. I think I'm down here to just Blood Moon and Moonblast the Pelipper, knock it out through a possible Focus Sash. I didn't think they would protect the Araquanid, that's very convenient for me, but Ribombee has the Sash still intact and Ursaluna resists. I mean, with Water Bubble it still hits crazy hard, but Ursaluna resists its stuff. I still don't want to give the Archaludon any breathing room. I'll just double into it. I have Protects. Of course. I targeted it so aggressively earlier, that was probably a pretty easy read for them. Okay, but they break Ribombee's Sash. And that's all the Araquanid does, importantly. Last turn of my Tailwind. They could still Terra the Archaludon. Well, if they get me with that, then good for them. They played that well. They get the double Protect. 1 in 3 chance. Okay, well, rain is almost over. I get Dragonite now. The problem is Dragonite doesn't... Oh, Dragonite doesn't have anything good into Archaludon, but what Dragonite does have is Tailwind. But if Ursaluna is going to drop to an Electro Shot, that's not really worth it, is it? There's Vacuum Wave Archaludon and hope for the best. And like Scale Shot Araquanid. Terra Grass. Okay, well it doesn't have stamina at least. And I take out Araquanid here. Now that I know it doesn't have stamina, I feel okay to Scale Shoot it. But they do take out Ursaluna. And it's all up to you, Dragonite. I'm counting on you. And counting on Dragonite pays off. GG. This team feels really good. Well, of course, it won a regional. But, like, I'm really enjoying it so far. Nothing like a nice, aggressive team. Okay, Gallade, Garchomp, Alolan Ninetales, Kingambit, Dragonite, and Annihilate. Gallade. Well, it probably has Wide Guard. It could have Trick Room. It's an interesting mon. It also, of course, has Sacred Sword to hit through stamina boosts on the Archaludon I don't have. Let's see. Once again, I like my Tailwind stuff. Ribombee and somebody threatening. I think Goldango is reasonably... Goldango's kind of weak to Kingambit. Goldango's super weak to Kingambit, is what I mean by Goldango's kind of weak to Kingambit. Ursaluna is good into... just like generally good into most of what they can throw at me. Actually, that's not really true. Their fighting types force the Terra, and the Terra isn't amazing here. There's no one... actually, there is one super threatening mon I can pair with Ribombee, and it's Terra Fire Kommo-o. So we'll go back to that lead once again. I think I bring Goldango to this one. I think Incineroar's potential to be really good in this one. I just have to watch out for the Annihilate, but I think it's worth bringing. It's super strong into the rest of their team, or at least it can intimidate stuff. I mean, there's probably a clear amulet somewhere, but Alright, 3 dragon types and a Ribombee. That's fun. Do I Terra Fire kommo-o in front of these? I think I do, because Dragonite probably goes for Scale Shot. That's the most likely move. Garchomp probably doesn't go for Ground Move turn 1 in this position. Clanging Scales does a lot, potentially, depending on, in part on their Terra, but Ribombee also should be the fastest Pokemon on the field. It's Terra Flying Dragonite. Oh, and it is Ground Move, because that's their strategy. Okay. That makes sense. Clanging Scales doesn't KO anything, unfortunately. And once again, kommo-o gets knocked out turn 1. At least it wasn't one-shot this time, but... Oh, and Garchomp is also faster than Ribombee, so I think that means... Yeah, that definitely means Scarf Chomp. Which is really bad when I have nothing but ground weaknesses apart from Ribombee. That might be an auto loss, pretty much. I'm gonna say that didn't take very much from Clanging Scales. I'm gonna say it's multi-scale Dragonite. Nope, it is Inner Focus. Okay. Well, I can fake out the Chomp. And Moon Blast. Are they really gonna let me do this? Oh, I have my Tailwind up. What am I even doing? I could have just gone Goldengo here. Basically for free. Okay, I goofed on that. See if I can recover. It's Assault Vest Dragonite. Makes sense. They take out Ribombee, which is really bad. I'm stuck with these two. Well, I can Flare Blitz Kingambit and protect Goldengo this turn and hopefully avoid a Sucker Punch. But then I only have one... Okay. And I only have one more Tailwind turn after that. I'm gonna click another Protect. Yeah, the Sucker Punch still doesn't work, at least. But they successfully stalled out my Tailwind with Protect into Sucker Punch, and they took out Incineroar. And I don't... Goldengo is not beating the Scarf Garchomp. Yeah, Scarf Garchomp... I mean, as always, in open team sheets I would know that it's that set, but... As soon as they got me with that turn 1, that game was a massive uphill battle. Okay. Oh, Glaceon. That's really cool. Alolan, Ninetales, Glaceon, Garchomp, Tentacruel. That's also cool. I can't imagine what it does, but we'll find out maybe. Talonflame and Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck, thankfully, without Smeargle. Alright. I mean, I don't know what I'm about to be facing here. Dare I say I think Terra Fire kommo-o looks pretty good. Perhaps with a Tailwind setter. Like maybe Ribombee. Honestly, Dragonite, I think. No, I think it's Ribombee. I like Dragonite, except in the Ice types. I can switch it out against the Ice types, but then I don't get Tailwind if I do that. I'll still bring Dragonite to the game. And I'll bring Goldengo. Okay, Talonflame, Ninetales. So they could have Taunt on Talonflame. They could be faster than Ribombee, and they could Taunt it. They could Brave Bird Ribombee, but that will only take Ribombee down to the Sash. Ribombee is actually proving so far to be a really reliable Tailwind setter just because it's so fast. And the Sash guarantees you take a hit, and then you probably outspeed whatever the other thing is. Terra Fire kommo-o without hesitation here. I guess I Clanging Scales to get my Throat Spray. Encore Ninetales could be a problem then, but we'll try. Go for Tailwind. They do Taunt Ribombee. They outspeed and Taunt Ribombee. That was the one thing that I called out that they had that could be a problem for my plan there. They did not get their own Tailwind though. But kommo-o is not going to knock out Talonflame through the Aurora Veil, so let's just try to get rid of the Ninetales. Switch in Tentacruel, which actually has amazing defensive synergy here as it resists Fairy and Fire, the two types I went for. It also resists Steel, so if I had that to target the Ninetales as double weakness, that would be fine for them. But the question then is, what does Tentacruel do here? And I'm down to attack and find out. Dual Wing Beat into the kommo-o, interestingly, instead of the Ribombee. It's Haze. Okay, it takes away my Throat Spray. Still get a big Clanging Scales. Thanks to the Aurora Veil, their Pokemon survive. Ribombee's taunt is over. They can dual wing beat Ribombee and KO through the sash. I don't feel inclined to let them. I think I'm going to Clanging Scales and switch to... Dragonite's really awkward when I know they have the Ninetales in the back and I've already used my Terra up. I'll switch to Goldengo here. Honestly, maybe I could just call Dragonite expendable at this point in this game. Okay, but we bring Goldengo in on a Sludge Bomb. That's really good. Tentacruel survives. Tentacruel being especially bulky is also paying off for my opponent here. Really cool team that they have. Dragonite's good into Garchomp. The problem is it loses to Ninetales. Kommo-o is so weakened now. But I have taken out their Tailwind Setter. If this one is not also Scarf Chomp, I can probably beat it with Ribombee, right? Let's go Clanging Scales and Protect for this turn. I'm anticipating they'll knock out Kommo-o. Didn't think that was how they would do it, but Tentacruel feints to its own Life Orb that I don't think I knew it had. Yeah, it never successfully executed an attack before. And I go Ribombee here. I'm looking to threaten the Garchomp with that. They have not used their Terra though, have they? So I might just lose the Garchomp right now. What can you do? Garchomp could have Terra Fire, Poison, Ground. I'll just click Make It Rain. It's actually Terra Fire Ninetales. Garchomp just takes that Moonblast way too well through the Aurora Veil. Humping Tantrum takes out Goldengo. That means Ribombee lives to Moonblast again. I would think that Garchomp protects here. So I'll protect Ribombee. I can Scale Shoot Ninetales now, or I can just go for Tailwind. And then Dragonite can beat Garchomp. But Scale Shot giving me a speed boost also works for that. I mean, Dragonite probably just gets wiped out by an ice attack here anyway, right? Yeah, it's Blizzard. Okay, Dragonite survives. Get the Scale Shot. That might be, honestly, the key to this game. Ninetales tops out at 177 speed. Dragonite is 198. If I land Moonblast and Scale Shot, I win. Somehow. I wonder what the Garchomp's Terra type was. That they Terrestrialized Ninetales instead of that. And somehow, I never got Tailwind up in this game, but this fast offensive core clutches up once again. And Ribombee feels like a genuinely great Pokemon in this format, the way these games are going so far. Hisuian Zoroark, that's cool. This one with Rillaboom, Primarina, Dragonite, Sneasler, and Volcarona. I wonder whether they have pledge moves. But I also wonder what kind of bait they might or might not throw at me with the Zoroark. Only way to find out, I guess, is to play the game. Dragonite's really good here, except into Primarina. Their own Dragonite's a little bit iffy, too. I really like my Tailwind here. We go Ribombee, Dragonite. It's kind of Primarina weak, and how do I actually beat Primarina with this team? My whole team feels kind of Primarina weak. I could, like, fake Tears, Terra Water, Blood Moon or something. But Ursaluna is tricky into some of their other threats like Rillaboom and Sneasler. Let's just do Ribombee, Dragonite, and if it's Primarina lead, I don't know. Maybe I cry. Bring Ursaluna, I'll bring Goldengo. Volcarona, Sneasler. Don't know whether one of them is a Zoroark. Maybe Shield Dust will come in clutch here. We'll see. They also could just actually, if they Dire Claw, first of all, Ribombee's faster than Sneasler, guaranteed. But also, if they Dire Claw Ribombee, fun fact, they can't get the status because Shield Dust prevents that. Let's just go for Tailwind and Scale Shot into Sneasler. Fake out a Dragonite. Funny how I didn't even consider that. Heat Wave knocks Ribombee down to the Sash. Don't think I need to preserve Ribombee here. I think it would be pretty funny to get a Fake Tears into Volcarona instead. And Scale Shot Sneasler again. These Pokemon are both not Zoroark, judging by the moves they use. Okay. Made that a bit too obvious, didn't I? Take out Ribombee here. Get the burn on Dragonite. Somehow I knew that was coming before the end of this game. I can go Ursaluna, I can Terra Water, I can Hyper Voice. And I guess I'll just Extreme Speed the Primarina. I mean, I don't know what else Dragonite's doing in this game. Maybe it can set Tailwind up again at some point, but what am I going to switch Gholdengo in on these? They stay in with both. Big damage. Pretty small damage back into Ursaluna, but they do knock out Dragonite, and it's the last turn of my Tailwind now. Both my Tailwind setters are gone. This Gholdengo does not have Nasty Plot, so I can't take advantage of a possible double Protect turn here. Hyper Voice does KOs Volcarona, but not Primarina, so let's Shadow Ball the Primarina slot. If they let me get these attacks off, we're still gaming, I guess. And they do. That'll be 2 KOs. But they still have the Sneasler and whatever the last Pokemon is. Rillaboom. Okay, so Ursaluna just loses to Rillaboom. I can't even protect around the fake outs from these mons. Gholdengo might lose to Rillaboom, might lose to Sneasler depending on their sets, also might not. There's nothing... I mean, Ursaluna, I guess I'll just Vacuum Wave to possibly break a Sash on the Sneasler. And Shadow Ball, but they probably fake out... They probably like fake out Woodhammer into Ursaluna or something. And there's nothing I can do about that. That's high horsepower into Gholdengo. It almost KOs, but actually not quite. Hyper Voice. Gholdengo outsped the Rillaboom. Let's go for Make It Rain here. Grassy Glide, of course. Close Combat almost KOs. I can Hyper Voice. I don't have Protect. I can't even go for a triple Protect to get out of the Grassy Terrain if I want to, so I just lose Grassy Glide. I don't even go for it. Well, oh, they do. I'm just faster. Okay, well, GG. Play until one more loss. That game was rough, but overall I'm still having a lot of fun with this team. I should never have doubted Ribombee. Turns out it's actually great in this format. Incineroar, Rillaboom, Kingambit, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Clefable, and Sneasler. This is a scary team. I had trouble with Kingambit earlier. Although kommo-o should be able to handle it, and they don't have great threats into Terrafire kommo-o with this team. They have the Ursaluna. And I mean, Sneasler's kind of just always threatening into everything. I think I want to bring kommo-o to this game. I don't think I want to lead it. Maybe I can, because it's really good into a lot of their team. But the Kingambit is easier to deal with if I preserve kommo-o for it. Then again, what else do I lead with Ribombee in this game? I think once again I'm just going to default to kommo-o Ribombee because everybody else on the team is missing some valuable coverage into something here. Maybe I could lead Gholdengo because I could see like Clefable lead, Sneasler lead, Rillaboom, Gholdengo, Ribombee. kommo-o can come in. Nobody on my team wants to come in on a knockoff. Except maybe Incineroar, but then I have to bring Incineroar when I think I would rather bring 4 other Pokemon. It's going to be kommo-o Ribombee, but I'm not confident that that's the best thing I can do here. It's going to be kommo-o Ribombee, Dragonite, Ursaluna again, as seems to be my favorite mode with this team. They lead Kingambit and Sneasler. Okay, so where I want kommo-o to help me deal with Kingambit, leading with it is not so bad here. Let's get my Tailwind. Protect kommo-o around a possible Sneasler fake out. And I can scout what they do with the Kingambit slot. My guess is they switch it out, but we'll see. No, Terrafire. Okay. Poaching. Oof. Alright. They can Sucker Punch Ribombee on this next turn. I could fake Tears Clanging Scales. But does Clanging Scales take out -2 kommo-o? I don't know. If not, I give it a Defiant boost for free. I can Extreme Speed it after. Let's do it. That did so little damage. That was a really bad idea. I wonder why kommo-o on this team. I get the spore immunity, but it's just... This Pokemon is just consistently not doing all that I want it to do, you know? Actually... King Gambit has boosted defense. What's Extreme Speed doing here? Yeah, I keep leading kommo-o because on paper it has such a good matchup spread. But then it's just not really powerful enough. I mean, again, I'm sure I'm missing some nuances in the EV spread. I'm sure it had no business being one-shot by a Basculegion in that first game, for example. What can you do, though? I don't think I need Tailwind anymore. I think because Scale Shot gives me speed boost, let's just click that into Sneasler. I'm faster than Sneasler. Vacuum Wave into Incineroar again because Ursaluna's going to go down before it can do anything else. Unless they target Dragonite with Incineroar, then I feel silly because I should have Earth Powered. No, okay, I was right. Not that it makes a big difference. Clefable is their last Mon. I do have my Terra Steel. I absolutely have to use it here. Game ended anyway, so wasn't enough. Just short of the KO on Incineroar, and I think I know what happened next. Yeah, GG. Alright, some parts of this team I'm having a little bit more trouble with, like the kommo-o and the, honestly the Goldengo to an extent. But Life Orb, Goldengo without a choice item and without Nasty Plot is something I'm not really used to. But the other pieces on this team, I mean, the kommo-o has been very good in some matchups for softening things up so that teammates like Dragonite and even Ribombee can snipe KOs. The duo of Dragonite and Ribombee I've absolutely loved. So we had some rougher games along the way, but overall I really like this team. Probably one of the more fun ones that I've tried in this second round of Regulation H. It is again... Well, you can see that it won Lille. I've put that in the name of the team. And I'm just really happy to be using Ribombee again. And in the end, that's what this game is all about, right? Using Pokemon that we win and trying out some fun strategies with them. So, mission accomplished once again.